So if you've never worked with a brand or web designer before, it can be kind of difficult to know what to expect from the process. You know, what does the designer do for you? Why do they do certain things? Yeah, there's just a lot of stuff that's kind of unknown. So I wanted to take a couple minutes to give you some insight into the design process and yeah, just kind of give you an idea of what to expect when working with a designer and kind of what their role is as far as how they can help you in your business. And hopefully some of these things are going to be, you know, stuff that maybe you had no idea were part of a designer's role or how they approach working with clients. So hopefully it'll be helpful for you if you've never worked with a designer before. So the first thing that you should know is that working with a designer, no matter what it is that you're hiring them for, it's gonna take some time. I think that a lot of times clients can assume that, you know, we come up with ideas very quickly and that it'll be, you know, a pretty fast process, but that's rarely the case. You know, it takes time to create something from scratch and to make sure that it is actually going to work well for your business. So I would recommend expecting at least 1 to 2 months if you're hiring someone to do branding. If you're hiring someone to do a website, it might take a little bit longer than that. Every designer is different, but I think at least 1 to 2 months is, you know, a good time frame to be prepared for. So if you have a strict launch date in mind, you want to make sure that you're reaching out to designers, you know, being prepared that it might take a couple of months to complete. So you want to make sure you're reaching out early enough to give them that space, because branding or a website or anything design related, it's not something that you want to rush. If you want to get your money's worth and you want to really do it well, you know, you need to have time for the designer that you bring on to really learn about your business, learn what your values are, who your audience is, do research on your competition, and you know, if they have the time to do all of that stuff, then the end result is going to be so much better for you. Another thing to know and think about is that the goal for a designer is to find strategic solutions for your business, not just to create what looks pretty or, you know, that you as the client personally like. It's all about finding the best strategic solutions for your business to help you really stand out in your industry and connect with your audience. So sometimes clients will come to designers and they already have something in mind as far as, you know, what they want visually, and that's okay. But I think it's important for clients to know that part of a designer's job is, you know, not just to necessarily create what the client wants, but to make sure that whatever they're creating is really the best option for your business to help you stand out from your competition and connect with your audience and, you know, really get the most out of this project. So many designers will have, you know, things built into their process so that each step of the way, they're going to be asking you questions, you know, and really pushing you to think beyond just what, you know, you personally like, and think more about what's your audience going to connect with? What's going to stand out from your competition? You know, we're really going to push you to think more strategically about how we can use design to, you know, make the most out of your rebrand or your new website or whatever, and really help your business thrive in the end. And sometimes this can be difficult because, you know, a lot of clients that I work with, they feel very personally invested in their business. You know, it's their life's dream, it's their passion. So of course they're gonna have, you know, strong personal opinions about how they want everything to look and how they want it to come across. And I'm a business owner myself, so I totally understand, you know, that really deep connection to their business and how easy it can be to get caught up in, you know, what you personally like versus what is strategically going to be the best option. But that's where I feel a responsibility as a designer. You know, I am there to help my clients realize where they might be getting a little caught up in what's just trendy or what they personally like. And, you know, just to kind of, you know, remind them along the way, okay, what are our goals for the brand? What are our values? What do we want to convey? You know, is this aligning with just what we personally like, or is it aligning with what's strategic and what's really going to get us the best results in the end? And finally, something that I think a lot of clients might not expect is that your designer probably isn't going to show you a ton of options. And every designer is a little bit different, but a lot of designers choose to show a smaller number of options because it's easier for the client and it just kind of makes the whole process go a lot more smoothly. So I would just want to touch really quickly on some of the specific reasons why designers show the number of options that they do. So the first reason is that whenever you show a ton of different options to a client, sometimes it ends up being more overwhelming than it is helpful. You know, if there are too many ideas, that can make it really difficult for the client to choose, and then they might end up Frankensteining concepts together, which means, you know, maybe they're you know, a ton of different options and they think, oh, well, I like this part of this one and this part of this one, so let's just merge that stuff together. And yeah, you kind of Frankenstein a couple of different ideas together, and sometimes it's okay, but other times the original vision for the branding gets kind of lost when you're just mixing and matching different pieces, and then it ends up not being as strong. So that's the first big reason why designers choose to not show a ton of options, just because it makes the process more messy, you know, and it doesn't make it easier for the client in the end. The second reason is time, because whenever a designer presents, you know, just one concept, there are hours and hours of experimenting and, you know, testing out different options that's gone on behind the scenes. You know, whenever I create, I usually present 1 to 2 options to clients. And although they're only seeing, you know, that very small number of ideas, I probably created 20 different ideas behind the scenes that, you know, I worked through for over a week, and, you know, I was testing out all these different variations and trying to figure out what worked, what didn't. And, you know, I had to go through a lot of trial and error to get to that 1 or 2 options in the end that I presented. And so that's just kind of the other reason. It takes a lot of work to get even one really great concept. And also by, you know, only showing a smaller number of concepts, that gives the designer some more time to really dive deeper into those different ideas, you know, really explore all the possibilities and come up with, you know, the best possible version of that. And the third reason to show fewer options is because as designers, it is our job to find the best possible solution for our client's business. And whenever we do find that best solution, you know, that's what we want to show to the client. And of course, you know, like I said, we've likely explored other options that we decided weren't as strong. And so, of course, we never want to show something to our clients that we, as the experts, know is not really the best option, right? So we only want to show you the absolute best. And that's also kind of part of what you're paying for whenever you hire a designer. You're not just paying for, you know, the time that it takes for them to create something, but you're paying for their eye for design. You're paying for their expert opinion on what is going to be the best option. So, you know, that's just kind of part of our job as designers, is rather than spamming you with a ton of different ideas, we, you know, put it on ourselves to test out the ideas behind the scene, you know, do the trial and error, figure out what works, what doesn't work. And then whenever it comes to us presenting stuff to you, we're only showing you the absolute best so that it takes that pressure off of you as the client. We've done all of the trial and error work. We're going to give you, you know, the best options that just make it easier for you to decide. So that's just some insight into what a designer's process is like, kind of what, you know, our role is as your creative partner. And if you've never worked with a designer before, I hope that that's helpful and just kind of gives you a better idea of what to expect and what to look for whenever, you know, you're searching for a designer to collaborate with. If you have questions about the design process or anything, feel free to shoot me a message. I'm happy to answer them. And you can also head to my website and my blog to read some more blog posts and videos on, you know, all of my branding and web design advice.